Hi, my name is Audi and welcome to AutoNet Max. Besides me is the new Honda N7X, a prototype that just released by Honda to compete against other LSUV cars in Indonesia, such as the Xpander Cross, the Toyota Rush and Terios, and probably against the Suzuki XL7. You want to know the detail? Check it out. Okay, now we are talking about the design of this prototype. Again, this is a prototype. Honda just released the car as a prototype because the actual mass production car will be displayed on the Gaikindo Indonesia International Auto Show on August 2021. So around 4 months from now, we are going to see the mass production. But now we are looking at the details for this prototype version. Okay, let's look at the front fascia first. The front fascia, you can see the design now incorporating a new element or new design element from Honda. It's very similar, or it looks like they are taking the elements from Honda USA. So you can see a slight Honda Pilot or Honda Passport on this car, which is good. I think which is good. Because if you recollect the BRV design, the BRV used a design slightly like LSUV, like a LMPV combined with SUV. But this one, with the high bonnet, you can see it looks like a true SUV. Not to mention, it has a generous ground clearance, high bonnet, nice LED lights, and this is also, they use LED lights along with the DRLs and full LED. But I think on the mass production version, they will change a little bit, probably fitted a fog lamp in here and probably change a little bit on this. But again, I think my opinion is this design is around 90-95% of mass production version. If you see from the side profile, you can see that again, like I mentioned before, the bonnet is slightly higher compared to the previous BRV or Mobilio things. Yeah, this is more like SUV-like, and the wheel arch and the tire also looks more proportional. Again, this is a concept. It's normal to make a concept looks proportional, but this one are using an 18-inch wheels, two-tone, 225/50 R18 tires and wheels, but looks like on the mass production they will change the tire into 17 or 16-inch probably. 17-inch for the Prestige version, probably, who knows. But again, it looks very proportional. And if you see from this side, especially if you see on the left side, the mirror, they equip the mirror with the Honda Lane Watch. So if you can see on the left side, the mirror has a slightly protrude camera, so you can see the blind spot on the left side, and it can be displayed on the center console. We cannot see the inside too well, and probably there will be no inside for this car because this is mainly a mock-up. Again, some details that you have to notice is because this is a prototype version, they are using a high gloss black fender or over fender. Probably in the mass production version, they will use a material color over fender, so it's more affordable and less prone to scratch. Okay, looking at this side, on the A pillar until the C or D pillar, you can see a similarities for the BRV, but for the N7X, the king of the BRV, if you remember, the BRV they have a king on the waistline, but for this prototype it is gone because they put a straight line from the A pillar into the D pillar, which is very nice looking because it makes, or it's what do you call it, accentuate the SUV-ness of the car and make it more wider, more bigger and more bolder, I think. And it looks like a true SUV, not a crossover between LMPV and SUV, which is good, I think. Now we arrive at the rear of the car. First time I see this car, on the rear section especially, one thing crossed my mind. It's a freaking VW. It's a freaking Volkswagen, really. It looks like a rear end of a Germany cars. So usually Honda use slightly protruding 3D effects on the profile, and probably a little bit different from this one because this one is more smoother And the profile on the bumper and the rear door is the same. And it shows a smooth line until the upper region. So it's totally very minimalistic. It's not Honda. But again, if you see some details, it still looks like a Honda. But if you see the overall things, it looks like a Germany cars, which is very good. This is the first time I see a Honda do some kind of minimalistic things, minimalistic design on their prototype. I hope this design will translate into the mass production version. Okay, because this is a prototype, basically we cannot see at the inside or the interior. We cannot know other details such as the engine or the dimension. But if you are looking at the approximately dimensions, it's roughly translate around 4.3 or 4.4 meters long, which is at the same segment as the Terios Rush, the Expander Cross, the XL7, and also the BRV. Okay, so let's arrive to the conclusion of this review. So, what is the conclusion? I think the conclusion is this car or this prototype came at the right moment. Because, as you know, for the past 2-3 years, Honda didn't release quite, what do you call it, new vehicles that are well accepted to the market. They are preferring to move into a niche segment, and this one shows that Honda still got it, still got the right cars to compete into the crowded market or the crowded segment in Indonesia. And I think their decision to introduce the SUV, not an MPV, shows that Honda thinks the LSUV segment or the SUV segment is more potential in the future compared to the MPV segment. So how the mass production version will become, we shall wait around 4 or 5 months from now at the GIIAS 220, at the GIIAS 2021, and I will assure you that we will create another first impression review on the event to show you what is the evolution from the prototype into the mass production version. Thank you for watching. Audi sign off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123,